Good day everyone and welcome to Exile News, the weekly show that brings you all the important news and informations on Path of Exile. And of course, this week the new leagues launched along the new expansion, but if you haven't had the time to catch up yet, these news are definitely for you. So first up in the week we got the challenge rewards and the actual challenges for the Abyss League. So of course, as usual, every 12th challenge you complete, you get a microtransaction. This time it's going to be an helmet, as you can see here, the wings, which you can see here, and the portal. So all of those are actually pretty cool. At least we didn't get any footprint effect this time. But as usual, there's very easy microtransactions. For example, this open an abyssal trove is like really easy. You just do a couple abysses and even if your build is pretty bad, you should definitely get to a trove sometimes. And then they go very far into the really hard ones, which I suppose it's like complete maps influenced by the Shaper or the Elder, and it's like 300 each. This is like a time consuming one. And if we go down, there's the usual endgame grinds, which are getting more various, I guess. There's now Abyssal Leech to kill and Elder Guardians to kill as well. So, I mean, at least people who are actually going for the 40 out of 40 will have some variations if they wish to actually vary their things. There's also the very usual challenges like complete unique maps, complete twinned maps. There's the complete sextant mods, which came back. We had this one or similar one a couple leagues ago. Maps with 8 mods, again twinned. This time it's specific maps, and this is because you might be scared at a twinned core, but core is not a level or a tier 15 anymore, it's a tier 13, so it might actually be more easier to do, especially for builds which are not top tier, but we'll have to see how that goes. Also, GGG spoke about Atlas migration. Since the Atlas have been pretty much reworked and a lot of map change tiers, you don't really know what is going to happen to it. So basically, if you have you will still have the same number of completed bonus objectives. It's just going to be weird. I mean, if you have like, it makes an example, if you have 2 tier 5 maps with completed bonus objectives, and let's say these maps now have a different tier, you will still have 2 tier 5 maps with completed bonus objectives, just not the same, of course. Also, the same is true for sextants. So if you have sextants in certain places, you will still have them in certain maps. Although, if these maps will kind of go over the sextant blocking rules, you will pretty much lose the sextant in that case. But I mean, this is going to be the case for a very small portion of the league, which is the one who actually plays standard or hardcore in the normal leagues, which again is not very big, but is still an important part of the population. Also, we got some balance changes. So GGG came out with all of the nerfs, hence the title Path of Nerfs, because there really literally is one very small buff to melee, and that's pretty much it, and it's not even to melee itself. But anyway, Valpact has been completely reworked. The leech is not instant anymore, it just doubles the normal rates at which you are actually leeching. You will still lose your life regen, so Valpact definitely still usable, but absolutely not as good as it was before. Acuity, Aziri's Acuity also now grants Valpact when performing a crit strike, and well, I mean, unless you're crit, it's not going to be worth it. And also it grants the new Valpact, so well, if you were basing your build on the ancient or the old Valpact, well, you are screwed. The Slayer's also been kind of nerfed a little bit. There's a Brutal Fervor Ascendancy skill, which has been nerfed a little bit because it was way too strong. Mind over Matter also is a bit, has been like kind of nerfed, and this has happened in the way that the passive skills behind the Mind over Matter keystone have been reduced in power because they were pretty much really strong, and the reason why everyone went mind over matter after it was changed. Also, vulnerability is now split into two gems. One is vulnerability itself, which is now a strength gem, which focuses on physical damage, bleed and maim, and this is the small buff I was talking about to melee and whatnot. I mean, any physical characters which go physical damage and damage over time, like bleed and maim, definitely wants to use the vulnerability, and definitely can use since it's a strength gem, while the old vulnerability is going to be changed into despair, and all of the vulnerability gem will become despair gems, focusing on reducing chaos resistances and increasing chaos damage taken over time against cursed enemies, of course. Wither also has been lowered. Now it has less stacks, and it deals it lowers damage taken by enemies by a lower amount than it used to, because it was honestly way too strong. And the Witchfire Brew Flask now only applies despair, so it does not work anymore for physical damage. Dark Pact has also been nerfed a little bit for self-casting, because the area and the damage was a little bit too strong. Barrage as well has been nerfed by removing the +2 enchantment to the helmets, and it's now at best a +1 additional arrow, which is only available into the Merciless Labyrinth. And this is because GGG said that Barrage was way too strong for Bowen users and it was the superior choice, so they kind of try to bring it in line with other skills, although not sure it's still pretty damn strong. Doomfletch has been also nerfed, not going into details, but it's still likely the best bow, just not as OP as before. And the Queen of the Forest has been nerfed as well, reducing the move speed it gave, because with all of the move and speed builds that are going around these days and evasion stuff, well, Queen of the Forest was way too strong. Also, Rise of the Phoenix has been nerfed, reducing the maximum fire resistance it increased, and also the life per second. So I mean, still works, definitely still works, but it's not as strong as before, especially for Righteous Fire characters. And if you're a player that actually wants to go to level 100, this is probably the wrong league for you, because they just increased the level or the experience needed for the last 5 levels. You can see 99 to 100 has now 40% more experience needed, which is absolutely nuts. You can really probably just get to 99 and be halfway to 100, which, I mean, it's on one side it feels like it's retarded, on the other side it's probably good, just to keep the players who hit 100 into a week to keep them to play more, because that was way too fast. We'll see how this league goes. I mean, the Abysses actually give a pretty good experience, because it's a lot of monsters in a very short burst, so we'll see how that goes. It's definitely not a beachhead, but I mean, we'll see again. And we also got, of course, the patch notes, and they are quite long, as you can see. Not going to go over them, because most of these or pretty much all of these actually has been kind of seen into the past weeks. And well, if you are actually interested into every little detail, or if you are searching for something specific, just Ctrl F into these patch notes and try to see if your favorite skill has been killed or maybe has been buffed. There's not really many buffs here, although there are a couple, but I mean, the nerfs were definitely more important this time, although GGG said they are working into stuff, but it's just not gone live along the update. Also, I think just for the Christmas period, you can actually gift some microtransactions to your friends, or just points, and you cannot do it with the points you already have, just with the points you buy. So I mean, it's just a little cool things, and these things will have to be processed manually pretty much by GGG, so that is why I think it's going to be a temporary thing, but it's still very nice of GGG to be able to do this. If you have your own item filter, these are all of the new base types and divination cards, all of the new maps which have been reworked in tiers. You can see there are, like, the Springs is now a level 3 map, it was a level 14, and all of these kind of things. There's also the new 32 new maps, so you can actually see if an item is shaped or eldered, I guess. Shaped, I mean by the shaper, and shaped as in shaped with the shaping things. So definitely a lot of things, a lot of new things. If you have your own item filter, you will have some work to do. Otherwise, you can just download whatever filter you prefer and go along with that. There's also new passive tree informations, but I mean right now you can just go into the game passive tree and you will see the new passive tree. Of course, it's no path of buildings, but again, it might work fine for you, depending if you still haven't had the chance to play yourself, of course. And we also got a couple new gems, and by that I mean the showcase of all of the new gems with level 20 and 20% quality. So if you are interested in seeing how strong a gem can be, well, you can check that out right here. Cremation seems to be extremely strong against bosses, especially if they are big bosses like the Brine King, which definitely gets wrecked, absolutely wrecked by this spell. And well, Volley also looks pretty damn cool, to be honest. And of course there are the new items. You can see random mods like this bow has +1 to maximum frenzy charges. Still don't know if they drop like that or if you can actually craft them. They probably just drop like that, but we'll see. Someone will figure out how to craft it and it will be extremely strong. There's also GGG kind of came and tried to fix the problem about sniping items. So when you put an item into your stash tab and you put a price on it, there's some applications or so that kind of are able to see your item before it gets into the normal trades API, like the one at PoE Trade or the normal trading site at GGG, which now is live and works. But still, these applications were able to kind of snipe your items, so the people using them would see your item listed first and would be able to actually get your item maybe for a price that was not fair, or just before the other players. Right now, GGG kind of did this thing where they delay the item data by 60 seconds for everyone. So if you want to make your own API, you will just get delayed data. Otherwise, there are going to be 3 sites and maybe more in the future. Again, it's PoE Trade, of course, PoE app, which I never used, and pathofexile.com/trade, which will get immediate access. So there should be no sniping anymore, though I'm sure there actually still is a little bit of it. Also, well, of course, the new leagues changed and it went live on Friday. This time should be in your own time zone. So, well, it doesn't really matter anymore because it's live, but the client is around 5 gigabytes, so, or the update is around 5 gigabytes. So if you have a slow connection, you definitely want to start downloading now. If you have a good connection, well, you should have no problems. Of course, you can check your favorite streamers to see all of the new and cool stuff, because by the time one day is gone, and right now it's been like 3 days, everyone is doing maps, so you can see pretty much all of the new skills and all of the new builds which are going around right now. Also, of course, we got a couple server issues because, well, I'm not sure how the numbers are with the league, but I'm sure they are really, really high. So, as usual, there's been a couple server issues which GGG came out and just spoke about, and they say, well, we are trying to fix things, and they fix stuff, but I mean, you can expect a couple hiccups here and there, and that's just a lot smoother than it usually is, so that's not too bad, I guess. But anyway, hope you're enjoying your leagues. This was all for this week, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Also, if you want to remain updated every week, be sure to subscribe to my channel. So that was all. I've been your host Orzo, and I'll see you guys the next time.